Financial Times. Life is expensive right now. While inflation's backing off those decades high peaks, rising interest rates are driving up the price of loans, and many households just trying to keep up. That is tonight's three things for you tonight. Thing one, two new reports illustrate the toll of nearly 2 years of elevated inflation on households. Federal Reserve Bank of New York says Americans' credit card debt passed the $1 trillion mark for the first time during the second quarter of this year. Overall, household debt, which also includes mortgages, auto loans, student loans, has climbed $2.9 trillion since the end of 2019, before the COVID pandemic. And higher interest rates, the Federal Reserve's key tool to curb inflation, will make it harder to pay down many of those debts.
When interest rates rise, the debt that people hold gets more and more expensive, and that's certainly playing a role along with inflation and a few other things.
Thing two on this, a second report from Bank of America found a surge in the number of Americans making emergency withdrawals from their 401k accounts. Another sign households are struggling to keep up. And finally, thing three, households do have a strong labor market and some easing inflation in their favor right now. Experts say if consumers can, they should make debt payments a priority to protect their finances for the future.
When you're in a situation like that, about the best thing you can do is knock down that debt that you have as soon as you can. It's a lot easier said than done when life is so expensive in 2023, but it's a really important thing to do.